Alright, well, I guess it's been a little bit. I figured I'd just respond to some comments, so let's get to it. And I got one from Sean here. I do try to respond to comments as best I can, but, I have a life and everything like that, so yeah, and it's been pretty hectic this week, that's for sure. So, I'll just respond to this one from Sean real quick. Why do you care so much about animals? I'm genuinely curious. Aside from torture, why do you care about an animal's welfare even a little bit? It is your dinner. Let's say in a perfect world where you could be a hunter or free range farmer, you would still care about your animal's welfare after you've given them the best life they could possibly have. Nothing to worry about predators in the field. After all, you're giving them a quick and painless death compared to, say, a lion or a bear. In my eyes, you're being very generous. Why do I care about an animal's welfare? Because we're fairly similar to them in a lot of ways. I mean, just because we got a bigger brain and we can do all sorts of other things, we still have a lot of holdovers from, our animal nature, I suppose. Uh, so I can identify with them quite a bit. And when you say it is your dinner, well, we only view certain types of animals as our dinner. Like you go to China at their markets they got over there, they'll just strangle dogs to death or beat the shit out of them for somebody else's dinner. I guarantee you, there's no one in America doing that. I don't think there's anyone in America, at least not that I've come across, who's going around killing dogs for their meal. Something to that effect. You know what I'm saying? So we only seem to selectively choose which animals are our dinner or not our dinner. So if you had a dog or a cat, say something like that, do you view them as your dinner? Because you can. I mean, I guess maybe I'm not being too charitable here, but a lot of animals we just don't view as our dinner. So yeah, and let's say in a perfect world where you could be a hunter or a free range farmer, would you still care about your animals' welfare after you've given them the best life they could possibly have? If I was like that, I probably wouldn't be a hunter. I'd be more of a free range farmer. I'm not a big fan of hunting. I just never have been. I've done it a few times, like very few. I could count on one hand the amount of times I've gone hunting. Um, because you can really fuck up when you're hunting if you're not a good shot. Like my eyes aren't the greatest, so yeah, you can really fuck it up. Um, and it's not a quick and painless death, as you say. When they're choking on their own fluids, or they're basically paralyzed, or something like that, and they're just like wondering what the fuck is going on. I mean, I guess it's quick and painless compared to, say, a lion or a bear eating them alive, basically. But yeah, um, I guess if I was a free range farmer, I wouldn't really rely too heavily on animals for what I need to eat as best as I could. I understand that we didn't always live like that, where we sort of did depend on animals for sort of our food and sustenance and all that sort of stuff, our clothing and other products, but that's not really so much the case anymore. We've kind of gotten past that. And even back then, when they had the animals, they rarely, like if you looked at like medieval peasants or something, they didn't really always slaughter their animals. Meat was kind of a rare thing. And they'd only slaughter them if it was like absolutely necessary, or they were just about to die anyways and need them. So yeah, I guess you are being fairly generous, but you got to ask yourself, do you need to bring more people in here to have to consume more animals, is the way I'm looking at it. Even if I can't necessarily get around it, that doesn't mean I should just be going around making sure that more animals are constantly being bred for consumption and more people are constantly being bred to consume other animals. If that makes any sense. I'm a little tired right now, so I'll just go from here. Probably not the best answer I could come up with, but I do care about animals. I would say, like, if there's a person there that was in trouble, or an animal like standing they were next to each other, I'm picking the person, obviously, but I just do the best I can with this. You're always going to be stepping on someone's toes. If you're alive, you're stepping on something's toes or someone's toes. There's just no getting around it. But you can sort of reduce the amount of toes you're stepping on, if you get what I'm saying. And then you go on. If we go by Schopenhauer's writings, the animal lives its life and knowing nothing about death, and every moment it is free. And which is kind of strange because Schopenhauer also was a vegetarian, as far as I was aware. far as I'm aware, he was a vegan type person. So yeah, and that, I would say that's fairly true, at least from the animals I've come into contact with. They don't seem to have a single inkling about death. Like none. And even if they, like a cat or something, like my cat, like if she kills a mouse or something, has no concept of the fact that it's even alive, really. It just treats it like an object. It's play toy, basically. And I guess it is sort of free, as in its desires are just pretty much. The only time it's not really free, I guess, is when its desires are being thwarted. It doesn't really think much past that. It doesn't think much past about eating dinner, sleeping, fucking, or any of that sort of shit, or playtime. He also got on to write. Spinoza also spoke about the wisest men being the least touched by compassion, didn't he? And that is true. That's a whole other thing. But at the same time, it's not like he was out. I mean, Spinoza was kind of a strange guy, and Schopenhauer really didn't like him that much, to be honest. He liked a lot of what he had to say, but he disagreed with quite a bit of stuff like this. He thought Spinoza was kind of just a monster in a lot of ways. Like, that may not be the right word, but I like Schopenhauer was pretty heavily inspired by Spinoza in a lot of ways, but he just didn't like a lot of what he had to say. I don't think on other matters, and that is true. Spinoza has spoke about that, and he also said the wisest men, and that isn't me. I wouldn't consider myself among the wisest men. Just even the stuff I'm talking about, like this is easy as fuck shit to grasp. You don't have to be a wise man to figure it out, and I mean, I guess I just deal with complete dumbasses, and I'm a graduate of to become a dumbass. I'm just a regular dumbass. I'm not a complete dumbass, if you get what I'm saying. But I understand the merit behind it because it causes you pain, which is what Spinoza defines as you reducing your ability to. It reduces your power. It doesn't help you, and I can understand where that's coming from, but it's a little bit more nuanced than that, I would say, because he also goes on to say how people are sort of into like compassionate people and stuff because they have a similar image in their head of what they are and what they kind of project out onto the other person. Like I said in the example above, like if there's an animal being hurt or a person being hurt, who am I going to save? I'm going to pick the person because I identify more readily with that. It's like it's hurting me to see them hurt. I mean, that's a whole other tangent right there in and of itself. But yeah, he did say that. And Spinoza wasn't immune to this either. I mean, he was not immune to the emotion he was talking about. He wasn't above it all, despite what he may write. He's saying it's a more ideal state to live in. And I think one of his friends is about to be killed. He just got overwhelmed and tried to save him. But I think another group of his friends pulled him back, saying, "You're going to be next if you don't, restrain yourself from going out there to help him." So even someone like him, yeah, he can get overwhelmed too. It's just something he's saying that you should try to avoid it. Like you don't need to go around trying to help every little thing, every little person or whatever, whatever. Everybody. You can't do it. And if you can't do something about it, why hurt yourself in the process? Like if you watch all those videos of people starving in Africa or something, I mean, sure you can send them some money, but I mean, if you really can't do anything about it, why, be down and out about something that you really had you didn't create the circumstances for them to be in that situation, and B, it's just not going to help anything, you being miserable on top of it all, I think is what he was going for. But that's like I said, that's a whole other tangent. And then you go on. I'm not preaching at you. I would like to know your take on these things. Me personally, I agree. It's not worth coming into this realm of existence. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Life ain't everything. I will be antinatalist for life, but while I'm here, I think I should be able to live the best life possible. And I would agree with that, yeah. That includes eating the healthiest foods possible, so I can be strong and healthy and enjoy life. Your thoughts? I wouldn't disagree with any of that. What I'm saying is, like, you can't reduce your consumption of meat. There's people who've lived for I don't know how many thousands of years without having to eat meat every single day. I don't do it. I'll go several days without eating it. And then when I do need to eat it, I just eat a little bit, just enough to get me by. So, at least that's the way it is anymore. And meat is getting kind of expensive now anyways. You could sort of substitute that with beans or Um, peanut butter or something like that. Get the protein you need. Your body may not be able to process it the best, but it's better than having a whole bunch of animals killed so you can get that. And I wouldn't deny you the fact that you should be eating the healthiest foods possible. I don't, but I eat what I feel like eating, and my metabolism is amazing. It's one of the few gifts I do have. That, and I probably because I drink coffee and smoke like a chimney, but you know how it is. So I can be strong and healthy and enjoy life. Yeah, I mean, while you're here, you might as well play the game. Enjoy your life. I mean, I can understand taking on all the burdens of the world and whatnot, and seeing that this is like a grind out war zone, like I've always said. This is war eternal. There is no stopping. It's like the tagline from like 40K or something like, there can be no peace amongst the stars or something to that effect. Or as long as the enemies of mankind still draw breath, there can be no peace. If we want to go back to when I played those video games way back in the day, but it's pretty much what it is here. I think 40K is pretty much just talking about life. It's actually kind of what got me into philosophy to begin with, because I'm like, man, this seems kind of familiar to the realm I'm in. I mean, not directly, of course, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, enjoy your life as best as you can. You're here, you might as well play the game. Just understand that your actions can cause problems for other, creatures and other people and stuff. Just try to be reasonable about it. Don't go out there if you want to enjoy your life. If enjoying your life means, raping and murdering people, I would suggest you don't do that. I mean, I'm not saying you do, but you know what I mean. Like, if your idea of an enjoyable life is to cause a lot of problems, then I think you're going to be running into a few problems, and I would definitely be one of them. But yeah, if you know your dietary needs better than I do. If you think you have to eat meat every single day, I mean, if even though I personally don't see why you would need to, if you think you do, I guess I can't really stop you from doing it. I would just make the case that um, something's paying for that. Okay, something that's not that far removed from you, like plants and stuff. And I know I got into it with somebody else about plants feeling pain, which I forgot all about that. I need to make a video on that. I would still say yes, you can like cut back on eating your meat and stuff. Like, don't just be eating those breakfast sandwiches you see or any of that. And I'm not saying like if I go to somebody's house and they serve like a roast or something. Like, I got a friend who makes a damn good pot roast, like the best pot roast I've ever had in my fucking life. It is amazing. Um, yeah, I'll eat it. But it's already been cooked and prepared and everything. He already bought the meat. It's already been simmering for hours. Like, what am I gonna do? Just say, nah, I'm good. I don't eat meat ever. That's stupid. Plus, I'd be missing out on some damn good pot roast. I'll admit, it's like the best pot roast. But it doesn't. The thought enters my mind every single time. It's like some other animal died so I can enjoy a meal. And I think about that every time I eat meat. Really, it's just the way it is. I don't feel like overwhelmed with guilt or nothing. But I just realize that if I keep doing this, there's going to be a lot of other creatures suffering and dying for no fucking reason other than just to keep something else that's going to suffer and die eventually, anyways. So, stuff to that effect. But yeah, thanks for the comment, Sean. And I guess I'll look through some other ones. I'll try to respond to some of these. I guess on my latest video I did, you're just here to suffer and die, or we're just here to suffer and die. I'll just go through this. JB001 posted a YouTube link, which is, if I remember right, it was a thrash metal band. Nuclear Assault. Live, Suffer, Die. I'm not a huge thrash metal guy, but I mean, I like Slayer and stuff, but I heard this album was really good, though. I may have to stop and listen to it at some point, because I do like that title. That title was great. So thank you for that, JB001. Kind of more of a, I don't know, like a doom metal kind of guy, if I am into it, like Electric Wizard or Candlemass or, bands of that nature. Sleep, that's another one I like. Alm ain't too bad either. Kind of a splinter group of that, but I'm just going off on a tangent here. I like a lot of bands and a lot of different styles of music. Oh, dropped my pen, but yeah. Alright, so then we got just another YouTuber 3. Unless your position is we should stay and fight for the unborn, your stance on suicide doesn't make much sense. And I don't understand what you mean by that, honestly. Yeah, I said suicide's kind of a waste of time, and I don't really. If you feel like you have to kill yourself, I'm not going to stop you, is what I said. What am I going to do? I'm going to be like, hey, you have a fight to fight or something? If you're like in severe pain, disabled, or something like that, and you have the means and you want out, what am I going to do to stop you? I'm a dude on the internet, first off, and second off, to me, it just seems like it's a waste of time. As far as I'm concerned, in the state I am in now, what a waste of my fucking time. I'm not in severe pain. I don't really need to do it. I'm a dead man walking. I'm already dead. It just hasn't caught up to me yet. So why kill myself? It makes plenty of sense to me. I pretty much said that. So I don't know. Maybe you misunderstood what I'm saying. And then Sean replied, sent another comment saying, Shia LaBeouf, LOL, do it. Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yeah. I'll have to find that video of that guy. He's some billionaire guy. And he's just like, yeah, it's like, okay, you want to be a billionaire? Just do it. Just fucking do it. It was what he said. It was something to that effect. I'll have to find that video. And it's like, well, just fucking do what? Alright? I'm just smoking I'm using my vapor pen because I'm trying not to smoke too much anymore. And I'm just drinking my coffee. Where's my 50 billion fucking dollars? Yeah, I mean, he's not. He's one of those people that like motivates you. You just got to go out there and do stuff and whatnot. It's like, well, how do I get to where you are, where you're multi-billionaire? It's like, well, I write my dream journal every day, duh, and stuff to that stupid kind of shit. Or I work out for like 7 hours a fucking day. It was one of those videos where I can't remember what other YouTuber was making fun of it, but I saw it. It's like this guy's morning routine was basically like from 5 o'clock in the morning to like fucking 1 was just pointless bullshit. It's like, so this is how you get to be a billionaire? You just answer a few emails, you lift a few weights, you drive around in your fucking Ferrari? That was straight up all he did. And he meditated, I think. It was like a fucking 6 or 7 hour ordeal. I'm like, I would kill to have like fucking 30 minutes in the morning. I really would. And you want me to do all this stupid shit? Yeah, that's really going to make me a billionaire. Maybe I should. I think the only way I'm going to be a billionaire is if I come back and fall out of a rich pussy. That's pretty much how you're going to make it. Let's be real here. Then we got Null Cyber here. People don't want to let go of life, so they make excuses like sentient beings are inevitable though, and that may be true. God, man, my dyslexia. And that may be true. That doesn't mean a gamma ray burst can't destroy us all, because guess what? It can. So holding on to society is kind of pathetic in a way. But of course, the idea of being wiped out only motivates people to breed even more. So I admit there's no ultimate reason not have kids, nor to have them. But physical pain still makes us its bitch. Yeah. It kind of. There's a lot of reasons behind why people hold on to society. It's like really all a lot of people know, depending on what society you're in. Even where I'm at, it's really all I know. I'm not immune to it. Um, it's sort of like something you anchor your life around. Zappa, you want to read Zappa, Null Cyber. It's not that. I mean, I know you keep downing yourself, saying you're stupid and whatnot, but I doubt that. I mean, you're smarter than most people I've come across. If you could just pick up on this. But yeah, Zappa, he pretty much laid it out for me at least. What is it? I'm trying to think here. See if I got it. Yeah, you got isolation, anchoring, distraction, and sublimation. Like you sort of anchor your life around something. You distract yourself. That could be like video games. Well, okay, anchoring be like your culture, your family, perhaps religion. Your sort of identity that you have. Distraction could be like video games, sports, TV, porn, you name it. Isolation, pretty much you just sort of buffer yourself from any negative outcomes. Like if you see a horrible car accident, you're thinking, well, that will never happen to me. Or hear somebody getting cancer, you're like, oh, well, that's them. That's not me. That won't happen to me. You just sort of push that out of your mind. You repress it to a degree, thinking that it's not going to happen to you. And sublimation is sort of kind of what I'm doing here, I guess, but that's a bit more of a tricky one to answer. I still haven't fully got that one. I read it occasionally and I go back to it, but a lot of the stuff I do talk about, it's not something you can just read once and get. I still sort of, it's good enough to where you just have to kind of reread it to get the gist. And I'm not the brightest person out there, so maybe that's my problem. But yeah, that's just the way I do it. So yeah, people don't want to let go of life, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Even us, like, none of us are putting guns in our mouths, are we? I mean, let's be real. We're machines driven to survive and to expand our power in the best way possible to make our survival more adequate. It'd be like me getting mad at a car for not being able to, go deep sea diving in the fucking ocean or something. It's just not the way a car's made. Or to have like a fucking battle cruiser become like a, one of those doom buggies out there in the desert. It's not going to work for it, and that's the same here. It's kind of it's a little bit more than just that. They don't want to let go. It's that they don't think that there's an option. They're kind of blinded by it. Their desires are just pretty much running their lives. And it runs my life. I'm just aware of it, but that's pretty much the only difference between me and them, or anybody like us and them, is we're aware of it. They're just not. We're still driven by the same things. We're just more aware of it, and we're more, what's the word? We're more likely to understand that the consequences of just letting our desires, our blind, naked desires, run our lives. It's going to cause a lot of problems. Now, other people may get that too, but it's more of a fear of punishment that keeps them going, or keeps them from going there more than anything. Whether it be like sort of being ostracized, or the law getting involved, or their peer group not liking what they're doing, or something to that effect. I mean, you can go on and on. That's like a whole other tangent in itself. But yeah, we're pretty much driven to live. That's why we're here. We're here to live. So yeah, that's, I think, part of the reason why it's so hard to convince people about this, because even just not having kids, it's kind of not life affirming for them. And sentient beings are inevitable, though. I would say, to a degree, yeah, that's sort of true. Like, because of all the causes and effects that happened, we're here. It was inevitable, I guess, that we were going to be here. Now, if it's destroyed, will it come back? I don't think it will. But who knows? It doesn't mean we have the right to throw somebody else into it, I don't think. Whether that's true or not. Yep, and a gamma ray burst can destroy us all. I can't. That doesn't mean it can't destroy us all. Yeah, it can. I mean, you're right. So holding on to a society is kind of pathetic in a way. Yeah, we're just a pathetic species all around. The more I think about what I do on a daily basis and what other people do, and I look at our systems in place, and I look at the way we operate, yeah, we're just really pathetic. In general, as a species, life is kind of pathetic in a way. It has to lie straight to your face, basically, to get to get its ends done. It's not truthful at all. If you want to get anywhere in the world, be a liar. It's that simple. I think we all kind of know it. You kind of have to be in order to keep this thing going. You have to lie to yourself thinking that your kids are going to give a fuck about you, or that you're somehow cheating death if you have kids, or that people are going to give a fuck about your genes, or that you actually did something important because you had a kid, and so on and so fucking forth. We would need all this sort of validation in society, and sort of lying to ourselves, making up all these justifications to have kids if it was just out there normal. Like, people aren't making up things, like, aren't writing books about why water's wet, or why the sky's blue, or the fact that it is. It's just there. It's, validated by reality itself. It's there. Having kids isn't. It's the opposite is implied, I would say. Especially when you know the guarantees of, suffering and death. That's why I don't breed. But of course, the idea of being wiped out only motivates people to breed even more. Yeah, that's something I thought about too. I think it was Jeffrey Gonez. I can't remember his name. Gonez? I can't pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I think that's your name. But I think he knows who he is. He's commented before. Let me see. Ephelis Gonez. Yep, that's him. He was on another video. Yeah, he said something to that effect too on the Not an Ephelis Vegan video. I think. Was that? I don't know. It's not important. He has said it before, though, and I would have to kind of agree with it, and somebody else will have to comment saying that, too. I would say that is the case. Again, like, people think that their survival prospects are diminished, so they're going to seek something life affirming, more than likely. We're pretty mechanical, we're pretty predictable. I am too. I'm not saying I'm outside of it, I just know I am. That's about it. That's the only difference here. I know I'm a machine. These people just think that they're super important and necessary when that's not the case. I have the exact opposite opinion. I just sort of live my life, I guess. I admit there's no ultimate reason to not have kids, nor to have them, but physical pain still makes us its bitch. Um, to not have kids, nor to have them. I would say the ultimate reason is life itself to not have kids. It's kind of our arrogance to think that our kids are special. Like if I were to have, God forbid, if I were to have a kid right now, that'd be pretty fucking stupid of me to think that it's gonna avoid the worst of it. The worst is coming for everybody. You're not escaping. You could build the best fortress ever. That's why I laugh at these elites and their bunkers and stuff. So fucking afraid. It's like they don't pay attention and stuff. It's like you can dig as deep as you want, have the best mercenaries protecting you or whatever, all the money in the world, best quality food, best quality health care, you name it. Uh, but what you fear most is still, just around the corner. It's waiting for you. Actually, it's not really waiting for you. It's just like, I guess I'll go get him now. Something to that effect. I mean, I'm sort of anthropomorphizing death here, but it it doesn't give a fuck what you do. It's coming straight at you. Uh, and in a sense, you're already dead. It just hasn't caught up to you yet. But that's my ultimate reason, is the guarantees are horrible. And I've heard, I think it was Negative Philosophy saying something to the effect that people who are anti-natalist and complain about life really complain about life because they like it or something. I don't agree with that. I think it's a valid complaint. Um, why would somebody be stupid enough to drop you on this planet? I don't know. It's really dumb. Do I wish life was better? You're damn right. But that's not the case. And me complaining about it doesn't necessarily mean I like it. It'd be like me complaining about my job and secretly liking it. I didn't get that one. I kind of disagree. I do like his channel, though. I like it a lot. It's what got me sort of into Spinoza. I'd only really heard about him through, like, here and there through Schopenhauer, but him and I think it was Luis Almeida, if I spelled that name correctly in the last one of the comments I got, really got me into it. And they are hard as fuck things to get into. I'll admit. It took me like probably about a good 2 years before I could finally just read the shit on my own. It's not easy. But yeah, physical pain. Yeah, we're a bitch to it. There's no denying that, Noel Cyber. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, that's just the way it is. Just like I was trying to point out to angry vegan cyclists, like if suffering doesn't matter, why did you eat, sleep, shit, drink, anything, or try to find a sexual partner or beat off, you name it, or why are you playing video games? If suffering and pain mean nothing to you, why do you go out of your way every single day to avoid those things? I'm doing it now. I'm drinking some coffee. I have my vapor pen, which I dropped earlier, and I don't know where the fucking cap went, but whatever. Um, and I guess in a sense, I'm sort of yeah, even me using this vapor pen, I'm avoiding the pain of like potential complications from heavy cigarette smoking, which I've been a heavy chain smoker most of my life. Um, Not gonna lie, if there's anything that's stuck around from the past with me, it's definitely been cigarettes. I haven't bought a pack for a couple days now, but this will be attempt number 6 to quit. I doubt it'll succeed, but who knows? And stuff like that. Like the pain of that is outweighing the pleasure of cigarettes anymore. And I'm not getting any younger. I'm almost 30, and smoking has just wreaked havoc on my body. Really hard to breathe, wrecked my teeth, expensive, you name it. I really do love cigarettes, though. I won't lie. No matter even all that, that's how addictive this shit is. Even that amount of pain doesn't get. It's hard for me to quit. I'm really just kind of quitting because of the whole, or at least for the moment, I'm stopping because of the whole coronavirus thing and how it targets your lungs so heavily, and I'm trying to give my lungs a chance if I am gonna get it. K's pretty nearby to where I'm at, so odds are either got it or will get it. But I want to give myself at least a little bit of a chance to get over it. But yeah, so the pain of choking on my own fluids is outweighing the pleasure of having a cigarette. So yeah, we're pretty mechanical. Once you start getting these sort of things down, like No Cyber and anybody else, you could probably get them better than I can. But once you start figuring this out, you'll realize how much of a machine you are, and you'll realize that people are pretty much operating based on that. They don't have any sort of reflective capabilities or anything, or at least they're pretty latent in them. Just like a dim awareness. And I'll admit, for a big chunk of my life, that's the way I lived. Uh, so I always wondered why shit wasn't working out, or why stuff didn't pan out. You name it, whatever. Or if I only did this, this would turn out better. That kind of mentality. Like, it's all my fault. It's not. It's kind of comforting to know that in a way. Like, it's not my fault. A lot of it is just the way I am. The way I was manufactured as a human being is what's going to cause me the most problems. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything really to do with the situation I'm in and the creature that I am as well. With my big brain able to see a lot of big problems heading my fucking way. So, I'm not saying you can't do anything about those or mitigate those or nothing. I'm not saying you should just laze around and just not do a fucking thing because, well, it gets boring after a while, trust me. But, yeah, just understand that a lot of the things that are going to happen to you, it's not going to be your fault. So, it's kind of freeing and liberating in a sense. That's why I made this video. We're just here to suffer and die, because no matter which way you go, you're well fucked. So, I'll see if I can find another one. Just another YouTuber. Let me see. Maybe I'll try another video. I'm just going through some of these videos. See if I can find one real quick. Oh, here's one from Coffee Addict on my Coach Red Pill response video, which I'm going to get around to making the part 2 of that. It's from somebody else. He writes, at 11, ha 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 ha. I can't remember what I said, and I'm not going to click on it. I think it had something to do with buying shit. One of the reasons for me not to have children was that buying useless stuff, toys, brand, clothing, junk food, and all kinds of hyped up nonsense, etc., would become obligatory once I had them, just to prevent them from being bullied. Yep. As a guy who didn't grow up exactly rich or well off, I remember getting made fun of for not having name brand shoes or clothes or any of that. Like, I remember wearing a jacket for a sports team. I had no idea who they were because we got it at a thrift store. I'm not going to say I live the poorest life ever or something, but I mean, I live in a rural Midwestern area. Not a lot of rich people running around. If you're making like 70K around here, you're living large compared to most places in America, I guess, or bigger cities in America. I wouldn't say most places in America. I think most places are like kind of like the area I live in. Generally, where we're not like so poor that we can't get the necessities, but we're not rich enough to get all the luxuries. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. And yeah, but I'm just kind of glad that really I wouldn't care about any of that shit. Like when I was a kid, even then, I really didn't give a shit. I'm just like, so what? I don't have fucking Nike shoes, and I got like whatever it was, like Basics or whatever the fuck they were back then. I can't remember. Or I didn't have the best looking jeans or whatever. It just didn't matter to me, really. That's all they had to make. Like, I didn't really get bullied or nothing. Like, I grew up, I was pretty close to most of the people I grew up with because it was a very small community, but it's just the way kids are. And, yeah, it's just not exactly something to really base your life around, I don't think. And if you have kids, yeah, I mean, it would be kind of obligatory to get some of these things for them if you want them to have a decent quality of life. I'd agree with that, Coffee Addict. I would respond to this comment from Richard, but it's too long and it's almost a 40-minute video. You know what? Fuck it. I'll do it. Expecting from Cope Red Pill a multitude of sources, quantitative basis for his argumentation is a mistake. Some of his videos on subjects that are things he has a great deal of experience in, writing the publishing business, how to bullshit people and work a room. Well, he's definitely good at bullshitting most people, it seems like, and working a room, are good in my opinion. The rest is boomer gibberish. He's been producing ramblings without any logical foundation for 3 years now and is afraid of a serious debate. See the Destiny CRP debacle. I just saw one from another YouTuber that he debated. It was, what the fuck is his name? It's like Vosh or something like that, or Vaush. I can't pronounce his name, but basically he ended up just leaving. The other guy was just like slapping his fucking dick in the dirt, and he's just like, you know what, you're just being dishonest. I'm like, how is this dude being dishonest? I could pick up on this. I'm not even political person. I can get this, what he's saying. But I don't know much about him, but if you got to throw red pill in your name, I know you're about to be bullshitting me pretty good, I think. As for his natalist view, you painted the heart of his tragedy. Just like other alt-right parents, he deludes himself into thinking that he gives meaning to his life through reproduction and obviating the consumer trap, when in fact he's consuming even more by providing for his dependents and creating 4 more slaves for the consumer hell he despises. I couldn't have said that better myself, honestly. Yeah, I think I mentioned in another video, it's like you see all these rebellious kids or teenagers and stuff like, yeah, man, fuck the system, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, man, this place blows. We got to do something about it. And what do you know? They're not going to do anything about it. They're just going to have kids. And they sort of try to inculcate their views onto their kids. Or, yeah, you know what I mean. Like, they try to put their views on their kids and hope that they turn out and do something that they couldn't do. They're sort of living vicariously through them. It's like, well, you didn't do it. And you expect someone else who was just drug out of nothing to take care of it when you knew better? And now you're stuck working a job you fucking hate for the next however many years just because you decided it was a good idea to bring in more mouths to feed? Yeah, I don't listen to people like that at all. Like the hippies and whatever who are just like, oh man, life is so great. Let's just reproduce. And as long as you go green and vegan and stuff, it's really not bothering anybody. It's like, well, are you not looking at the scenario you're in overall? So what if you're planting trees every fucking day or something or any of that? The guarantees are horrible and you just drug a bunch of people in here. For people who are concerned about making a better world and stuff to that effect or trying to make a change, you're just creating more of the same. More suffering, more death. And they say we're pro-death. I think we're more pro-life than anybody because we see how bad it is and we're like, let's not make any more people to have to, fucking die here. This is the valley of the shadow, I guess, in biblical terms or whatever. This is the realm of the dead, as far as I can tell. Life is just a misnomer of this place, as far as I can see. Everyone here is dead, and everything here is dead. There's no hope. So yeah. This is the afterlife, if there ever was such a thing, where you just sort of serve your term here in this hell realm and then you leave. Maybe that's just my imagination, producing some sort of coping mechanism, I guess, but still, it's better than most. Far right and far left copers who reproduce are truly insane, and I would say fuck yeah to that. I'd say people who reproduce, who are intelligent enough to know better, are fucking just insane or sadistic or something. Like like I've said before, I can kind of give a pass to some people, um, because they're like, let's just be real. Not everyone's like gonna look at life like this, and not everyone's really that intelligent. I wouldn't say I'm not intelligent compared to some of the people I've came across. I look like a complete fucking retard. um, but it's whatever. I mean, it's sort of on a scale or a spectrum or whatever. But there's a lot of people who just don't pay attention to this. Or they're just too afraid to. It'll just shatter their skies, so to speak, to the point where they just can't do it. I think the whole concept of isolation really applies to a lot of those people that Sappho was talking about, where they just have to buffer out all the bad things in life and just really hammer home the good stuff that can happen without realizing it's just sort of a mirage that once they get to it, it's never really satisfying. It doesn't give them the water they're looking for in this fucking desert wasteland we call planet Earth. even more so than the moderates. Continuing with the comment, even more so than moderates, since they recognize that reality is unsatisfying and strive for some sense of agency slash meaning to avoid becoming insane. Well, I think it's too late to avoid becoming insane. I think they're already there. End up throwing other slaves to suffer in a system they find horrific. This was a very good comment, Richard. I'm kind of glad I stopped to read it. Yeah. Oh, I gave it a like, but I'm glad I read it on this channel. That's a very good comment. Yes, I think that a lot of people just sort of find this unsatisfying, and they sort of think, well, if I just have a kid, maybe they'll. And it's not even really their fault because society as a whole, and like maybe their parents and other people are like, well, to be an adult is to have a kid, like what Coach Red Pill was saying. That's the only way you become an adult is by having kids, which doesn't make any fucking sense to me, but I figured it'd be like, post puberty for everyone, but I guess I was fucking wrong. Or just maturing, which, if we're gonna go by that, I don't think he managed to figure that one out yet. So, yeah. I mean, I can get the whole sense of meaning and agency and all that. Anymore, I just don't care about it. What's the point of looking for meaning? The whole meaning of my life is to pay the penalty of a crime I never committed, as far as I'm aware. I have no other meaning besides that. I'm here to suffer and die. And that's it. Anything else that gets in the way of that is really just a distraction, as far as I'm concerned. I can't cheat it. It's just the way it is. I must have done something wrong somewhere else. Again, that's my imagination taking over, but I kind of am partial to the Gnostics and stuff. Maybe I did do something wrong. Some other realm that I just don't know of. Or this is just another experience or something. I have no idea. Like, we can get off on a tangent on that, but I'll just leave it there. And yeah, throwing more slaves into a system they find horrific. Like, they're going to somehow raise a kid, and this is also great from those type of people. They're going to somehow raise a kid without money or without needing anybody's help from society or any of that sort of stuff. They just think they can just do it. And these kids are just going to be basically little mini-me's when they're going to have a character of their own. And all sorts of stuff. And it's really going to start coming through when they're teenagers or something. And they just seem to forget that when they were kids, did they give a fuck all the time about what their parents wanted them to do? No, I certainly didn't. Especially when I was a teen. I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Didn't always pan out for me, but I guess that's just being a teenager. I don't know. Like, yeah, once you get to that age, you're just like, fuck this. And I think they have a reason to say that because even when I was a kid, I realized that this system blows. It's like, I sort of started getting the inklings of it. It's like, oh, fuck, I'm just going to keep doing shit I hate for the rest of my fucking life, aren't I? Yep. It doesn't get any better from here. So, yeah, it kind of sucked for a while there, I won't lie. But, yeah. Not much that can be done. And it's not just the system they'll suffer under, it's life itself that's going to make them suffer, too. Let's just not forget about that. I mean, I could go through some more. But, yeah, I'll click on one video randomly and see if I... yeah, I already did that. You know what? I think I'll just call it there. It's like almost 45 minutes. You're just going to be staring at a black screen or just listening to me ramble on. This is just an incoherent. I just figured I'd make a video because I haven't done one in like a week. It's been a hectic one, needless to say. But, yeah, anyways, I guess thanks for listening and, have a good one.